Welcome to the Delmarva Almanac. Each week we connect you to the best of Delmarva. I'm your host, Dana Kester McCabe. Wende Woodham had a career as an Army recruiter and had probably not ever seriously considered that she would make a living as an artist until she retired. And then she did just that, jumping into it with both feet. Recently I met with Wende in her Stevensville home, and she told me how this happened.
I've never taken really any art courses other than in elementary school. And I spent 24 years in the Army, and I've always been a collector of ribbons. I've just been into ribbons and fibers and trims and without any knowledge of what I was going to do with them. And so I've had these stashes of ribbons for years, and when it got close for me to retire, I thought, I'm going to start doing something with these. So I decided I'd make up a piece for my commander's wife, and he were moving to another area. At that time, it was just a weaving process. It was just over and under, but with different colors and bright and cheery and things like that. So this one I put together in red, white, and blue on a navy blue mat, and I called it Susan's Patriotic Garden. And she just cried, and I said, that's what I'm going for. Let me make them cry. If I can make them cry, I know I've done something. So anyway, that was my very first piece that I'd ever done, and I did that for many years. I retired in 99, the very end of 99. So I worked on that probably for the next, 3 to 4 years anyway, just doing the weavings and incorporating different types of weaving. So I got bored with it. I said, this isn't doing anything for me anymore. So I decided that I would start trying to see if I couldn't incorporate pictures somehow into it. And that seems to be what nobody else does. I haven't ever found it anywhere else, and that's what people come to me for as a normal rule. I have several stores that I supply, but they're like one-of-a-kind pieces, so it's not something I can reproduce. So everybody that ever gets anything from me, it's always one-of-a-kind. I can't duplicate what I do.
Wende explained how she goes about developing and constructing one of her works of art.
I'll just be driving down the road, I'll see a tree scene or a bunch of grasses, just something that just sparks my interest, and I'll just kind of store it away. As I told you, I'm not a drawer, so I draw for placement only. So I will get a little sketch pad out, and I might, even if it's just a little spiral thing next to the phone, just do a little bit of jotting down so that I kind of can place my things as to where I want them. And what I do is it's all done with pin weaving. So it's not like I have to have a loom. Everything is done on my lap or on a table, and I use foam core board for it. I start with my background, and a lot of my things that I do have to do with the Chesapeake Bay. So when I'm doing it with ribbons, you have to work from the background or the bottom up. So I am laying out what I perceive to be the water, and then I'm working on either that or maybe there's grasses below that or a beach below that. So what I'm doing is on the horizontal ribbons, I'm laying those out based on the colors of what I want to eventually end up with. There's glue that is archival. I use tapes that are archival, that are sticky on both sides. My ribbons are actually fused, so it's like what you would use is interfacing if you're a sewer, where you iron, like an iron-on kind of fuse. So I do that for all of the basic big pieces, and then the small pieces I use archival double-sided tape. Then I work on my pictures as to what I want to put in there. If it's a heron, I'll usually do the body of the heron. I just draw it out on a piece of paper, and then I'll make ribbons just vertical, and then I'll do a cutout from those ribbons, and then that gets fused onto the paper. So that's kind of how I work. For the little tiny pieces like his eye, his beak, they're so pointed that ribbons ravel so easily. So I put paper or some kind of other fiber that you're allowed to get a sharp point to, so that nothing will unravel eventually when it's hanging on somebody's wall. And so that's kind of what I do. I'm probably more famous for my herons and my sailboat scenes, my sons, things along that. I've started kind of a line of trees.
From a distance, Wende's compositions have the same effect as an impressionist painting. When you get up close, you can see how the geometric shapes of the ribbons act like brushstrokes, and the color combinations play together to create vibrant hues.
To me, colors have always just been fascinating, and weaving has always been fascinating to me, although I've never gotten into anything having to do with looms or anything like that. That just doesn't interest me at all, but when I can work with my hands and make something happen, that just means a lot. I have done some pieces up that I really do feel spiritual when I'm doing them, and even the fitting together, I just love that. I mean, it is like a puzzle. It takes so many little tiny pieces. I counted up cuts one time on one piece that I had done, and there were like 4,000 cuts, individual cuts on something and that's just amazing that you can actually produce something and you've done that much and you don't realize it. I mean, it takes a long time to complete a large piece, but once you've done it and you stand back and you say, wow, that's amazing that I really did that. I'm probably amazed more than most people because I wasn't trained in art, and I don't have that, I don't know, it's not inbred in me. It's something that it's just something that I just love to do. I hope to accomplish many more commissions for people that I can go in there, hang them up, and they are crying or laughing, or I don't care. I don't choose to put my mark on the world. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care if they're around 5,000 years from now. I don't have that inner draw like a lot of artists have. But I just really like to bring a smile to people's faces, and when I make something special for them and I years later go to their house and it's hanging there, I mean, it's there. I mean, there's no better compliment.
A recent commission for the new wellness facility at the Ginger Cove Retirement Community blossomed into not only orders for a large number of her handcrafted pieces, but also several print reproductions of her work for their dining room. Wende has also branched out into vibrant ink-painted jewelry. She is a member of the Artists' Round Table of the Eastern Shore, which is a collective of about 40 artists who meet regularly to critique and support each other in their work. She'll participate in their show at the Queen Anne's County Arts Council next spring. She also has her work in galleries in St. Michael's and Easton, as well as several stores, including Island Shipping in historic Stevensville, Maryland. Well, that's all for this edition of the Delmarva Almanac. Be sure to follow us on Facebook or Twitter, and next week join us to learn more about our local culture and get connected to our natural wonders. We'd like to thank our community partners, the Friends of Delmarva Public Radio, and our underwriters for their help in bringing this program to you, our audience. If you'd like to become an underwriter for this program, visit delmarvaalmanac.com/support. Our theme music was provided by Brightside Studio. This show has been a Moonshell production. Thanks for listening. Until we meet again, may the rhythms and tides of Delmarva bring you good fortune.